I think we live in some really interesting times right now. And when I said to my dad that I was going to the US for 2.5 weeks to help our business get off the ground in the US, there was a silence on the phone for about that long. Because he just sort of thought, well, with everything that we read in the media, why would you go and start a business in the US right now? Like what? Australia is a really nice country. What is it of all time? Wouldn't you go in boom times? Wouldn't you go when times there's just money being flown around everywhere and they can't find enough people? And why would you go? Why would you go now? And I think that's a fairly common perception of some of the different major economies around the world at the moment. And I think it's sometimes a perception of our own economy. Australia is quite an interesting place at the moment as well. We're in the largest national debt we've had in 10 or 15 years. We spent the last 10 or 12 in massive surplus. And now just in 12 months, bang, we're in debt, gone. We're experiencing some of the highest unemployment that we've ever had since our last recession, which was in 1991. There's a whole generation of people coming through in both of our countries into the workforce now that have never experienced a recession. When I last experienced a real recession in Australia, I was about 12 years old, 13 years old. And so I haven't been in the workforce in a recession before as well. Luckily, my business partner, Gary Lear, who's 62, more than twice my age, has. So he sits down and he says, so Josh, what do you think we should do? And I'm thinking, no, you've got it all wrong. What do you think we should do? Let's just get this straight, shall we? And I think I can see very evidently it's having an impact not just in Australia, but in the US and in local communities like in Dayton. And Melody heard me talk about and Tom the day before, about a story that happened on Monday morning this week. And Clancy and I went to a business breakfast, a networking breakfast, on Monday morning at 7 a.m. here in Dayton. There were 50 people, largely men, at 7 a.m. on the Monday morning on the patio of outside a Beef O'Grady's restaurant. And we're 50 people, go around the room and tell us your name and what you do. 50 people. It took forever. It was quite a big room to do that with, quite a big group. And we'd go around the room and John Smith would say, my name's John Smith and I'm a salesperson, and my name's Betty Wilson and I'm in HR, and my name's Tom Franks and I'm in transition, and my name's George Wilson and I'm in transition, and my name's Jane Hodgson and I'm in transition. And my name is Frank Bettison, and I'm a salesperson, and my name is Melody Smith, and I'm in transition, I'm in transition, I'm in transition, I'm in transition, I'm in transition. And at first, I nearly leant over to Clancy and just wanted to clarify what in transition meant, because it's not a term we use in Australia. I had a fairly good idea, but I just didn't want to make a cultural assumption, right? So just before I did, another 3 people consecutively, bang, 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 in transition, in transition, in transition. The thing that gave it away, it was fairly obvious, was one gentleman actually said, hi, my name's John Frankenstein, whatever his name was, bad example. And since we got together in our networking meeting last month, I've got a job. And the whole place erupted in applause. I mean, it didn't lift the roof off, but there was some energy there. And I thought, well, now I really know what in transition means. These people are looking for work, they're out of work. And it turns out that most of them had lost their job within the last sort of 4 weeks to 12 or 15 weeks, or something like that. That was the first thing that astounded me. The second thing that I really connected with and really was quite engaged by was the amount of people who said, I'm in transition and I'm looking forward to getting this city and this region back on its feet. And I thought that was really cool. I live in a big city, Sydney, Australia, 4 million people. And I love it as a young person, fantastic city. It is my favourite city in the world. I'm proud. I'm so proud when I fly home from being overseas. I love being overseas, but there's nothing like coming back to Sydney. And one of the things that it doesn't have is that real sense of connection to the local area and that real sense of connection to the community and that loyalty. And Clancy and I were talking about this during the week, that loyalty to really make what's going on around them work. And I think that's something that I found highly engaging. And what I also found inspiring was that there was 50 people. I'd put cards on the table to say that 30 of them were in transition. I reckon, maybe. There was a majority there. We're not stuck in survival, disengaged, disempowered, uninspired, shrinking, just disintegrating mindset and thinking. They were up, out of bed, dressed, 7 a.m. on a Monday morning, out networking, talking to people, swapping business cards, meeting new people, looking for opportunities, talking about what's going on, and making things happen. And that's a thrivalist mindset. So these guys with themselves are winning the war for engagement. They were making that transition. I'm sure they go back there every now and again because we all do. But for them, they were winning the war for engagement because they'd made that choice in their head that the things were going to be different for them and their local area. My God, try finding someone in Sydney, Australia, as great as a country is, it would say, I want to make things really great for me and the local area around me. They'd be so few and far between, with all due respect to my fellow countrymen. I think it's just a big city thing. I don't know, compared to a smaller area like this. And that's really what we're talking about. So I think that challenge is very clear and present in everything that's going on at the moment. And the only thing that is going to turn our own situations around and this area and our countries, Australia included, is a critical mass of people making that transition over to here. That's the only thing that's going to do it. Stimulus packages help, but stimulus packages don't help people who are stuck here. What's it going to do? It's just money, or it's just a job, or there's got to be a critical mass of people in both of our countries that are making that transition, that are fighting the battle for engagement and winning the war for engagement for themselves.